We're all in the same pit. We're all on the front line trying to fight poverty and feed our kids and clothe our kids and just make life easier for people.
Welcome back to another episode of Midlo Connect. I'm your host, Audra Fowler with Rose Gold Realty Team. Today, we are here back in Midlothian, Texas, in Midtown, in a gorgeous neighborhood that offers spacious garden homes almost as adorable as my little Roxy here. They offer immaculate yard space and close enough to all the amenities that Midlothian has to offer. There's just not enough good things that I could say about this community and the surrounding areas. Today, we have such a special episode for you. We're going to introduce you to Manna House, what I consider, and many others, the heart of Midlothian. Manna House is such a special part of this community. They give back in so many ways each and every day. I'm a huge believer in being grateful for what you have and wanting to give back to others. And Manna House does just that. Today we have a special word from our Mayor Kaufman, along with getting to know Sissy, the director of Manna House. Let's chat with them both and get to know who they are and how much they love giving back and being a part of this community.
My name is Justin Kaufman. I'm the mayor of Midlothian. I'm a lifelong resident of the city of Midlothian and very passionate about our community and very passionate about Manna House. Been involved with Manna House in one way, shape, or form for 30 plus years, give or take. All the way from serving in the food pantry as a kid to serving on the board at one point and serving through Manna House as a community chaplain, sort of the ministry leg of what Manna House does in the community. So I'm very passionate about this ministry and seeing it fulfill the needs of the community members. It's kind of my role.
I'm Sissy Franklin. I am the executive director of Manna House. I've been the director for 20 years. I've been a part of Manna for 30, almost from the onset. We moved to town and I fell in love. I wanted to be a part of Manna didn't matter what capacity. I wanted to be a part of helping people, and I found my earthly passion in Manna House, and I still love to serve. Manna House was started by a group of 8th grade problem solvers. Their task at the beginning of the year is to find a need within the community that's unmet, and throughout the course of the year, rectify that. Figure out how to make that not a problem anymore. So these 8th grade kids in 1992 decided that their neighbors were hungry. The kids might not have good shoes to wear. They may need clothes. They are doing their homework by lanterns or candlelight, whatever. They didn't have electricity or water. So these 8th grade kids, along with the Ministerial Alliance in Midlothian, came up with the idea for Manna House, which is an acronym. Manna House is Midlothian Area Network for those needing assistance. So it's MANNA House. But Manna House is a community outreach. We help people in the Midlothian Independent School District area, which includes parts of Cedar Hill, parts of Waxahachie, Sardis, Ovilla, all around, Venus. There's anywhere that MISD kids are, we service them with whatever the needs are. We serve all of Ellis County with food. Last year, we handed out 1.8 million pounds of food within our county. Our goal this year is we want to double it, but we're being realistic and thinking maybe 2.5 million pounds this year. You know, not wanting to set ourselves up to fail, but we're wanting to better what we did last year. And we're on target. It's going to be a good year. Even if we just help that one person, it's a good year. So, but we help families with utilities, medical, whatever the needs are. We don't really back down from a lot of requests. If there's any way we can help, we do. If not, we're an entire partnership with people that can. So we know who to call if it's something that we just don't do, but there is someone else, a nonprofit in Ellis County that does. We refer people constantly, and people refer to us constantly. We've joined partnerships with people all over Ellis County. We are funded partially by United Way, the churches in the area. The Ministerial Alliance is loosely the ownership of Manna House. We answer to their rules, their regulations, which, they pretty much let us go and do our thing. We also service about 250 seniors each month with food. And when I say they get food once a month, I don't mean a box of food. They actually physically come into our pantry and shop the aisles and get what they know they will eat or what they're capable of cooking. They have some restrictions and stuff, but we give them enough food to last them a month, knowing if they run out of milk, come back. They run out of bread, come back. We just love on them. We deliver to those seniors that are shut-ins that need somebody to deliver. We're happy to help any way we can.
My path to becoming mayor, I guess, of the city of Midlothian is a long one. Born and raised in Midlothian, my father's a pastor, one of the local pastors, and from a very early age, community service was driven into us, and we served the community. We were involved with Manna House from the beginning, from the onset. We were at all of the fundraising events and pitching in and moving chairs and feeding people and doing all the stuff that a normal, very committed community member would do. And so from a very early age, that was sort of the precedence that was set, was driven into us as children. And fast forward, growing up through Midlothian ISD, eventually going to school, finishing my degree out at Southwestern Assemblies of God University, went into the ministry myself, and really felt a need to take ownership, for lack of a better term, of the community in which I live. And so as a minister, I launched from the foundation of the Bible, and I noticed throughout the Bible there was many instances of God challenging people to take ownership of the land in which they were called to steward. And so I took on a little bit of a personal challenge and to take sort of ownership of my community. And so I should be involved. I should care when my neighbor's hurting. I should care when situations arise at the school district, or God forbid somebody passes away in the community. I should be at the funerals. I should be involved. I should be engaged. And that led to, actually through Manna House and ministry through Manna House, inroads into creating connectivity and connections with the city's leadership. And after many conversations and many lunches and leading, taking ownership and leading the Ministerial Alliance, which is a group of pastors in the community, led me to creating those connections with the former mayor and former council members, and ultimately deciding for myself that it's a good time to step into and join this leadership team of Midlothian, because what I saw as an outsider was this is a group of high-level individuals that are leading well and pushing our city in the right direction, and that's a team that I want to be a part of. I want to be part of contributing to that, for lack of a better term, goodness that's going on. And of course, this was before politics got really polarizing. This is 2016 to 2018. Finally, in 2018, a former council member called me and said, "Hey, I'm not going to rerun for city council. You should consider running." So I took his prayer, talked to my wife, and we decided it was a good time. Ultimately ran in 2018 for city council place 5, was elected by an overwhelming percentage of 70+%, which is pretty unheard of nowadays, and was elected to place 5, appointed to the mayor pro tem, which is the, for lack of a better term, assistant mayor, in my second year of service, and served in that role for 5 years. And then this past year, when Mayor Reno decided that he was not going to re-up his term, I felt like it was a smooth transition for myself to pursue that spot, since I had been the mayor pro tem for several years. And so with Mayor Reno's support, I ran for mayor, and was actually unopposed, didn't pull an opponent for that spot. So I've been the mayor for 1 year. God gave Adam and Eve the garden to steward, to care for, and to take care of, and to be intentional about. God gave Joshua the promised land to care for and to take ownership for his people, to make sure that that place was the people in that place were well cared for. And I feel like, although I can't do it by myself, but part of my role is covering for the people of this community, and to be a beacon of light into the community, and to be a good representation in an often dark area, which is the local political scene. And so I'm really honored, it's probably the best word I can use, to get to stand in that gap and to be a representative to my people of Midlothian, in service to them as we as a community move forward in whatever that way that looks like. God's given me a unique skill set in communication with people and having genuine conversations with people in order to make it a better place to live. And Manna House feeds into that perfectly, because their charter literally is neighbor taking care of neighbor. And it's such in sync with my personal charter. And so the relationship that I have with Manna House, because we're so in sync, I think is a good one.
When the opportunity arose to become a volunteer at Manna, we had been here just a short time, and a friend of my daughter's introduced us to Manna, and I said, I want to do that, I want to volunteer. And so I started volunteering. I had a job during the week, so every weekend I would go up on Saturday and I would volunteer in the resale shop, and just fell in love with it. And throughout the course of this, I would take a week's vacation at Christmas to help with the Christmas project. I was a volunteer for 10 years. The opportunity arose in 2004. The director's position became available, so I jumped. I mean, both feet, head first. When I was a volunteer, I was diagnosed with a brain tumor. It's not cancer. They did biopsy, brain surgery, whole, and I was kind of out of commission for about a year. So they would literally come pick me up and bring me to come volunteer. 6 days a week I volunteered. But in the course of that recovery from brain surgery, I had to ask Manna for help. I never even knew there were places like Manna that would help. I mean, I was a single mom sharing a can of ravioli between me and my 2 children. Never knew there was help out there. When I walked up to the door and put my hand on that doorknob, I broke. In my mind, I was a failure. I couldn't even pay an electric bill, which was $200. We didn't have $2 to pay because I was not able to work. So I remember how I felt going in, like the weight of the world was on my shoulders, and I will never forget how I felt when I walked out. I felt the earth, the weight of the world just gone. And I said that day, I'm going to give back. I am going to give back, and I'm going to repay this some way, sometime. I feel like after 20 years as the director, debt paid in full. But I felt like it saved my life. I will never allow anyone to leave here feeling anything other than helped, relieved, enough, capable, empowering them. Not only do we get to pray with them, we ask, can we pray with you? Is there something we can pray for? Can we hug you? Can I hold your baby? Can I just be a part of your existence? So we've built Manna into what it is today based on relationships. We could go out there and just, go in the door belt buckle first, or we can go in with our heart first. And we choose love. We choose to go in with an open heart, open arms, ready to help. We're all in the same pit. We're all on the front line trying to fight poverty and feed our kids and clothe our kids and just make life easier for people.
We get to determine the community in which we live, the resident does. And so that looks like something. That looks like if I see my neighbor struggling, I'm going to support them, or I'm going to go knock on their door and check on them. I'm going to wave to them as I drive by, or if they're out mowing their yard and struggling, I'm going to go help them. Or if I'm walking in the park and I see a piece of trash, I'm going to stop and pick it up. Why? Because this is my community, and that should mean something. I'm not visiting some other random community. I care about this place. And so my charge to every citizen of Midlothian is to own their community, because we literally establish the culture in which we live. I believe firmly in establishing the culture and then following through with it with more than just words and action and deed. Is we can truly start a movement to be better, and it starts with the individual.
When I took over as director in 2004, we had like $1,000. Had a mortgage, had 2 employees, and $1,000. So I immediately started working on relationships, being in the community and talking to people and just loving on people. And the spirit of love in Midlothian is so evident because people just jumped on board. They wanted to be a part. They wanted to help. Most people are happy to help. They just have to know how and where. So we started building these relationships, and after 20 years, just about anywhere I go, somebody recognizes that I'm Manna House. This, whatever it's worth, is the face of Manna House. We started the summer feeding program, which was a God thing. I told my board, I said, I want to feed kids during the summer, because we noticed that when they go back to school in the summer, they're thinner. They haven't eaten all summer. If they're not getting free and reduced lunches, a lot of kids aren't eating, and it's heartbreaking. So we are now the biggest food pantry in Ellis County. We are the only pantry that has a client choice pantry, which means Miss Smith comes to the back door and doesn't get a box full of beets and succotash handed to her. She gets to walk the aisles and say, I don't eat beets, I don't eat succotash, but I do want that loaf of bread. They get to pick what they eat. They know what their family will eat. They know what they know how to cook. We're just there to load their groceries, pack them up, love on them, and send them on their way with a smile on their face, because they know that night their family's going to eat something that they really want.
When people hear Midlothian, they think Frisco South or South Lake South, and the reality is that there's probably lots of pockets of poverty there as well. And poverty doesn't always have a certain look. Somebody could be living in a brand new $400,000 plus home and need food assistance. The reality is you can't judge a book by its cover. And there's a lot of times that people are hungry or suffering, and you may not even recognize it or know it. And so one thing I love about the Manna House organization is they're the great vetting solution for these needs. And so I encourage anyone, if you hear or see about a need, refer them to Manna House. Manna House will vet that need, and then if they meet the requirements, they can receive assistance.
Well, the Mayor's Back to School Bash has been going on as long as I can remember. So it's grown into shot clinics, hair cutting. Some of our retail partners, Atmos Energy provides hot dogs for people that day free. We have sponsorships where we get free snow cones. The people that are coming this year will get free snow cones, free iced tea, free hot dogs, free popcorn, free water. They'll get free haircuts. They will get a pre-packaged set of school supplies.
First come, first serve.
First come, first serve. And our teachers, we ordered a certain number of packages for our teachers to have supplies, because teachers are paying out of pocket to get things they need, and we really want to support our teachers too. And we also, at that time, if they're needing clothes for the kids to go back to school, we have vouchers. We can send them to our resale to get some clothes and shoes and stuff. So it's just an overall fun day, supported by this community in so many different ways. We need tons of volunteers.
The Mayor's Back to School Bash is the hottest party in the city of Midlothian on August the 3rd from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Literally the hottest party.
Yes.
It's a great time.
It
The
is.
entire community is open, welcome, and it's open to the public. There are school supplies available for kids in need, or for first come, first serve for all elementary kids. And they're just probably want to get there a little early and line up and get your school supplies. But it really is a great community-driven grassroots party to celebrate the end of summer and to celebrate teachers and students and the school district coming back to life from the summer. And so I want to invite everybody that may be watching this to join us August 3rd at 9 a.m.
Frank Field.
Yeah, I'll let a select few throw a few balls at me while I'm in the dunk tank and see if they can dunk me. But it should be a good time. And yeah, I just wanted to say that it is truly a grassroots event. And it is sponsored by a couple of different sponsors. The school supplies sponsor is the Midlothian Community Development Corporation, which is providing, which is a portion of sales tax dollars in our community that is being utilized to provide school supplies for kids in need. And so I think it's a fantastic partnership.
Our prayer is that the families that need to be reached are the families we reach. And the best way we know is to make them feel good about being there and encourage them. We're also doing a pop-up pantry, which the need is so great in the community for food. I mean, people are hungry. So we do pop-up pantries where we take our refrigerated truck out into the community at a scheduled place, at a scheduled time, and people just line up and come and get their stuff. So at the Back to School Bash, we're doing a 10,000 pound pop-up pantry. So those families that are there will also get to take whatever food they want.
There's a lot of ingredients that go into making a community thrive and to making a community great. It's almost like if you were baking bread, one of the main ingredients is flour. Like, you can't make it without flour. The ability of a community to take care of itself, neighbor taking care of neighbor, is the flour and the ingredient to a healthy community. And so there's multiple ways to do that. There's supporting nonprofits that do that very thing, that feed people, that take care of people's needs, to take care of the less fortunate, take care of widows, orphans, single parents. Directing funding toward those organizations that are trusted and vetted is one way that you can come alongside and make sure that I'm participating in the flour that's baking the bread of a good community. Another way is by just simply recognizing need when I see it and fulfilling as much as I can. A simple wave and a nod and checking in on my neighbor, those sorts of things. These are key elements to creating a healthy community and a healthy community dynamic. So I want to encourage everyone that may be watching this that calls Midlothian home or is in the Midlothian area to find those things that you're passionate about that fulfills those needs, whether it be Manna House or another organization that does something similar. It's a key ingredient to a healthy community, and it's a key ingredient to your mental health as well, by showing gratitude for what you've been given and then turning that over to somebody else.
Mayor Kaufman could not have said it better. Making the community starts with the individual. I urge you to get involved, as Sissy and Mayor Kaufman mentioned, by giving back to our community. Manna House is such a huge part of Ellis County, and it was such a pleasure getting to sit down with the director of Manna House and the mayor of Midlothian, Texas. If you'd like to know more about Ellis County or the surrounding areas, hit the link below. Reach out. I'd love to chat. Thank you so much for joining me this episode of Midlo Connect, living in Dallas-Fort Worth. I'll see you next episode.
What do I love about Ellis County and Midlothian?
Mayor?
Well, that a former mayor, a real smart mayor, called Manna the heartbeat of Midlothian. That's what we want to be. That's what we want to do. You are fluffy. As the city grows, yeah, we grow. So,
What is succotash?
corn and lima beans.
Suffering.
Yeah, I don't even know why I came up with that.